In Tahrir Square. It is a totally different atmosphere to the running battles in a battleground that we have seen the last couple of days. We've been describing to you the scene down there, which has been one of celebrations. We're hearing of music, dancing, clapping. A lot of people came down to Tahrir Square with supplies, bringing food and water to the people who have held out there during the siege onto this important patch of land that really is a symbol of defiance by the anti-government forces that have been united this day. They have been chanting, "Down with Hosni Mubarak, he leaves, we don't leave, the blood of martyrs will not be forgotten." The military moved in early. They are now ringing this area and allowing these demonstrations to go on peacefully. There are also no pro-government protesters at this site. We understand that there is a pro-Mubarak demonstration, but it's a lot further away. The military, though, really key this day. It's unclear where they stand in the end.
Just adding to that, Zain, throughout this crisis, analysts have been keeping a close eye on Egypt's military because what the generals decide might just determine how all of this will end. Jim Clancy brings us the latest on that.
While army tanks have been very visible on the streets of Cairo, soldiers have largely stayed out of the fray during the protests. But their support could make or break Mubarak's presidency. Keep in mind, all four Egyptian presidents since the 1950s have come from Egypt's military. Hosni Mubarak himself is the former commander of the Egyptian Air Force. The country has more than 468,000 active personnel. That's Army, Navy, Air Force, and paramilitary troops, with reserves of 479,000 more men. It's the army that considers itself the guarantor of national stability, and the military is held in high regard by many ordinary Egyptians. Egypt's armed forces rely on conscription, which means all Egyptian men are required to serve in the military starting at the age of 18, for anywhere from 1 to 3 years, followed by 9 years of reserve duty. But morale within the armed forces is said by analysts to be generally good, largely as a result of the higher standards of living for troops compared to the average Egyptian. The U.S. has close ties with Egypt's military. Egypt, a key member of the coalition that helped liberate Kuwait in the first Gulf War. The two countries have held numerous joint missions, and hundreds of Egyptian officers study every year at U.S. military colleges. Perhaps more importantly, the U.S. provides more than $1.3 billion in military aid to Egypt every year. That has helped to pay for thousands of fighter jets, helicopters, tanks, and other equipment. The question now is, what influence, if any, does the U.S. hold with Egypt's military? Ultimately, will Egypt's armed forces come down on Mubarak's side or against him? Where they stand may ultimately decide Egypt's future. Jim Clancy, CNN, Atlanta.
You're watching World One live from London. Still ahead.
Dancing in the streets, they're singing, clapping. That's all taking the place of punching and stone throwing. Now we're hearing that the Secretary General of the Arab League, Amr Moussa, is down in the crowds. We'll bring you the latest.